Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Accidental Beauty. If you're new, welcome. My name is Laura. I'm a self-taught makeup enthusiast who absolutely loves makeup, and today I'm going to be talking about the best and worst of makeup of 2021. So if you guys want to hear my fully uncensored thoughts about the beauty releases from this year, then please keep on watching. Just a little bit of a heads up, sort of like order of operations and the way that this video is going to go. So, as you can probably tell by the number of subscribers and the number of views that I get on my videos, I don't get paid to do this, so most of the products that I'm going to be talking about, I don't own because I can't afford to buy every single launch that comes out all the time. So I basically am going off of the way that the products look, any swatches that were released, any reviews that I heard or saw about the products, and just kind of my thoughts about the packaging overall. A couple products on the list I have tried, so I will mention the products that I have tried and that I do own. I will be putting up screenshots for each product. Basically went through Trend Mood and Indie Makeup Spotlight's feed over the last year on Instagram, and only picked products that I felt very strongly for or against. So obviously I'm not talking about every single product that came out this year, but just the ones that make me feel a very strong emotion, whether that's a very strong like or a very strong dislike. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go in, I think, reverse chronological order. So from most recent releases backwards. That's just how I took my notes, and I don't know, let's just try that and see if it works. And I'm gonna start off with the worst products, and then we'll end on a high note when I talk about the best products from this year. So without further ado, let's get into the worst releases from this year. So I'm actually surprised with the number of releases that came out this year, considering everything that's been happening in the world with all of the delays because of the pandemic. I know that the US is basically acting like nothing is going on, and I feel like China is also sort of, back in business, but, in a lot of places around the world, things have had to halt because of, not having enough vaccines for everyone. So I'm just kind of surprised. I know most of these launches came out in the US, but it's just interesting to see that there were quite a number of products that launched this year. All right, so let's just jump into it. I'm gonna actually I'm going to move over here, and then we're going to put up the products over here. I think that probably makes the most sense. So let's just sit over here. And I'm looking down just on my phone. I got my notes here. The most recent product that came out, starting off, let's go. The Colourpop Smoke N Roses palette. Now, I know it's really easy to hate on Colourpop these days because they are just launching palette after palette after palette, and they all look the same after a while. But I'm not saying that I hate this palette. We're getting into Morphe 35 pan palette territory with these jumbo palettes that Colourpop has been launching every now and then. It's not ugly. I just think that this would have been a really nice capsule collection, maybe like a 9-pan palette, or to do like a series of palettes. I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of redundant shades in here. And I don't think you need, hold on, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a 30-pan palette. That's a lot of shades for like a very neutral palette. It's a little boring, that's all. Colourpop has released larger palettes that are actually really interesting. And this one's a little boring and a little redundant, that's all. Next. The Laura Lee Los Angeles blush palette that apparently launched recently, and I just completely missed this one. I stopped following the brand, so that might have something to do with it, but I just haven't really heard a whole lot from this brand. And I don't know, I just feel like no one's talking about them. And I have nothing against Laura Lee. Like, I really do want her to succeed. I feel like she's really trying to reinvent herself, but I don't know, like her brand has just never really spoken to me. Wow, I don't know if this is picking up on my mic, but there's like a huge windstorm happening outside. We had like a special weather warning over the weekend, and wow, it is quite loud outside. Oh, so this is called the Blush Aesthetic Palette. I'm a little confused because it looks like it's all blushes and then one highlight shade. And also the shades look kind of ashy. Like there's that really light, it's very confusing because the shades kind of all look the same in the palette. And then the swatches kind of look like there's a bit of variation, but it looks like for the most part, these shades will really only look good on lighter skin tones. That bright orangey red and then that dark kind of like berry red color would look nice on darker skin tones, but like, I don't, it's like, I want to like this, and then it looks, also the quality looks very like, for the most part, very like powdery. Looks like 8 matte and shimmer shades. So there is 1 shimmer shade and the rest of them are matte. I don't know, man. Like, it just seems really weird to me that brands are still releasing powder blush palettes when right now cream blushes are really having a moment. And I know that this palette was probably developed like a year ago, maybe 6 months ago. I'm not really sure, maybe even longer. But I don't know, like these blush shades would look really pretty as cream or liquid shades. And also just the shade range does not look great. I feel like instead of releasing 8 shades or really 7 shades and a highlight shade, I feel like she could have released single shades and have a bit more depth and color variation instead of doing a palette. Because like realistically, how many people are going to buy a blush palette? I feel like these days people are going to buy like 1, maybe 2 blush shades and use those. I don't think people, like, unless you're a working makeup artist, I don't think people are going to buy a palette. So you might as well just release like 8 shades and have a nice tonal variation so that people of different skin tones can make use of your products. Like the colors themselves are very pretty, but then looking at the swatches, they don't look that great. Okay, moving on. Next we have, I'm sorry, REM Beauty, Ariana Grande's new beauty line. I think everyone was really excited about this launch and then immediately let down when they started seeing the reviews and even some of the packaging. I was considering ordering from this brand to do a review, and I'm actually really glad that I didn't, because it seems like the only people who got reviews up early were people who got the launch in PR, and it seemed like everyone else who ordered products, it was going to take like a month or so to get to them. Just with a brand that's backed by Morphe, because I think they're owned by Forma Brands, which owns Morphe. So basically a parent company that has a lot of money. Plus it's Ariana Grande, and she's like one of the biggest and top earning celebrities right now, I think, or something like that. Like definitely like one of the most followed on Instagram. Like she's got a lot of money. I'm just surprised that they didn't invest more money in expediting the shipping and or hiring more staff to like pack up the orders and process the orders. I don't know, it just, it seems very weird. And when you know that a lot of people are going to be ordering from this launch because Ariana Grande is a huge star, and that's the way that people interact with brands and products, is people buy the products and then review them online. Whether you're a smaller content creator or a larger content creator, you must have known that a lot of people were going to buy these products to do a review in one form or another. The way things work right now is news and social media, like everything happens so quickly. So if you're not one of the first people to react to a product, if you're late to the game, you're not relevant, which, you know, I'm not able to buy everything like right when it launches, so I'm not relevant. And it's very frustrating as a small content creator that, you know, I don't have the budget to just constantly buy new products and review things, and then people don't find my channel. So that's just a side rant, but it's just very frustrating as a small content creator that like I can't afford to buy, like all of these brands are releasing products so quickly all of the time, and you know, you have to pick and choose as a small content creator, as a small beauty content creator, what products you want to review and kind of gamble on what people are gonna, or what products people are gonna search for and find interesting. And sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't, but I am kind of going on a tangent right now. But anyways, I saw even a lot of larger content creators who weren't on the PR list complaining that they had wanted to order and they actually ordered products from the launch and then weren't going to get them in time. So some of them just outright canceled their orders because it's like, well, there's no point putting out a video that people aren't even going to be interested in, especially when all of the negative reviews came in after the first, couple weeks. Like, people aren't going to be excited if their favorite content creator puts out an irrelevant review several weeks later when everyone already knows the products are bad. That really sucks. Anyways, let's talk about the launch itself. So the brand personality seems to be very futuristic, space-oriented, which is cool when it's done well. And I don't think most of these products are done that well, just as far as packaging goes. It feels very dated. It feels like sort of late 90s, early 2000s, that sort of space futuristic look that when you look back on it, like, 20 years later, which, oh my God, I feel old, but when you look back on it like 20 years later or so, it's very cringy a little bit. So as far as packaging goes, the only thing that I really liked was the lipstick. I like that it has the little sort of window that you can see the product inside. It looks like a little astronaut. I thought that was really cute. Everything else looks kind of ugly. The eyeshadow palette looks so ugly. Like, what the fuck is this? Like a Clinique palette? It does not look like something meant for her demographic, which is like anywhere from, I guess, teens to, I don't know, like 18 to 35-year-olds, I guess. I don't know, maybe a little younger. It just doesn't look youthful. It looks like a product kind of geared towards like 50 plus, which is weird coming from Ariana Grande. It doesn't really translate properly. It just doesn't work. I like the concept, but I don't think the execution really played out well. But the range of products, I'd say, aside from maybe the eyeshadow palettes, everything else works very much with the style of makeup that Ariana Grande wears and is sort of known for, especially the eyeliner, lip gloss, lip stain, kind of more, maybe not natural, but definitely not very bold makeup, other than like, a big wing and glossy lips. Other than that, everything that she wears is kind of a bit more pared back. Oh, another thing that I like, but I absolutely detest the packaging for, is those highlighter toppers. I think the colors are really cool, but seeing them together, it also looks very dated. The colors look like old lady shades. I don't know how else to describe it, but then thinking about how that would actually apply onto the skin, I don't think, like, because she has like a green highlighter, I think, a purple highlighter, like they're very, very pretty, but it just, I don't know, just the packaging, I think, absolutely ruins it. So that's really unfortunate. Okay, next. Oh boy. So this isn't a makeup product, but we're going to talk about the Lights, Lacquer, and Friends collection. Oh, Kathleen, why? Like, who thought this was a good idea? Okay, I will say, I guess I am a bit biased. Is biased the right word? I'm not really sure. I'm guessing Kathleen Lights is a big Friends fan, which is great, but like, I really hate collaborations with intellectual properties. So like TV shows, clothing brands, like clothing brands and makeup, unless it like actually makes sense, movies, like things like that. It just, like, why? This is very clearly a cash grab and nobody asked for this. Do you really think that when you put on your Friends nail polish, you're just gonna really feel that connection to Friends, or is it the packaging? It's absolutely the packaging, because if you took it off, it's just a colored nail polish. I just really hate it. Like, I really, really want these stupid collaborations to stop. There are a couple instances that I'm going to talk about later on where it does actually work, but in this case, to me, I don't see a connection there. It just, I hate it so much. Especially if you have the money to buy the rights to use that intellectual property, so in this case, Friends, I imagine the cost to use the Friends logo and, you know, everything, whatever other like branding or name elements that they used for the collection, if you have the money for that, then why not spend it on better ideas? Like, I'm sorry to be so mean. I really love Kathleen Lights, but like, that's just not it. It's just, and this isn't just an attack on her and her brand, but this is just any brand that does a collaboration with an intellectual property. Makeup Revolution, looking at you. 9 times out of 10, it's just not done well, and I just don't think this is executed well. I mean, the colors in the collection are nice, I guess, but like, I don't really see the point. Sorry. Okay, next. BH Cosmetics Poison Shock Collection. So, okay, I will admit, I don't have a super strong hatred towards this collection. This isn't the worst I've seen, but Colourpop already did this like a year or two ago with their 9-pan palette collections that they seem to be adding to every now and then. And this looks like sort of a cheap imitation of that. I don't really like the shade, like the particular tones that they chose in these monochromatic palettes. It's just, and like the textures, it just doesn't look as nice as the Colourpop collection, and Colourpop did it first. Another thing, I used to be a fan of BH Cosmetics. I think their eyeshadows are really solid. I've actually only tried their eyeshadows and a makeup sponge from them. I haven't tried their other products, but I don't know. I just feel like they're becoming Colourpop. Like, it just seems like they're coming out with release after release. I know that you kind of have to release things pretty quickly in the makeup world to stay relevant, but really I'd rather brands in general just come out with really solid, well thought out collections, maybe like 4 times a year or something. And, you know, we could get really excited about those launches and hype them up and like just kind of slow down, because it's just, there's too much out there. And I don't think all of these releases are really adding anything. I feel like they're just producing more waste, to be honest. And yeah, BH Cosmetics, like, I don't really love a lot of the collections that they're coming out with. So I don't know, like, just the tones and shade ranges in a lot of their eyeshadows just feel like tired. I don't know how else to describe it. They're just very, I guess the colors themselves aren't really saturated enough for my personal taste, but other people might like them. I don't know. I'm not super impressed with a lot of things that they're coming out with. Okay, next. So the Sigma and Cinderella collection, I honestly didn't even know this existed. There are a bunch of things on my list that I just have zero recollection of these coming out. Okay, so let me explain. This palette is gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. This is absolutely beautiful. I love the shades, but it doesn't really scream Cinderella to me. I don't know if it's just me. Comment below if you also agree with me. As I mentioned before, I hate themed collections like this. It's just, it feels like you took an intellectual property, bought the rights to it, stamped the name on, hoping that it'll drive up sales, and honestly, I feel like they could have called this palette literally anything else, because it's an absolutely beautiful palette, but the fact that they made it a collaboration collection just ruins it for me and really makes me have no interest in buying it, even though it's a stunning palette. So I would rather they just literally call it something else, save your money on buying the rights to use the intellectual property, because Sigma makes absolutely beautiful palettes, and they don't need to do this collaboration. People will probably buy the palette anyways, especially when it's so beautiful like this. Okay, and on that note, Besame? I don't really know how to, I don't like this brand, okay? They did a collaboration with Disney's Rapunzel. Okay, I need someone to please explain this to me. These symbols, what are they? To me, it looks like it's one of those plastic makeup like protector films that you put over top an eyeshadow palette to prevent it from, you know, shattering or getting damaged in some way. I don't think this is a spray or something over top, but if you have this, or if If you've tried it before, let me know. I'm very curious, because if it's just a plastic film over top, then like it looks pretty, but when you take it off, it's just a highlighter. I think it's a highlighter. Or if it is some sort of like spray overlay type thing, then I'm guessing like once you use it a few times, it'll wear away, unless it's like literally like almost like a marble kind of situation where it's like, you know, one color and then you have like instances with other color, but then what's the point? Because like most of the eyeshadow or most of the highlighter is going to be like that sort of champagne color. Like I don't really get it. Okay, so yeah, I know I'm coming to this kind of biased because I really don't like the brand. I think they're super kitschy. I'm sorry if you guys like them. They're just really not my taste. I think everything they come out with is really cringy, to be honest. But whatever, there is a market for that kind of stuff. Okay, and also, what the fuck is happening with this lipstick? So it looks nice on the light model. And then there's this. Ah, that is an awful shade. All right. Next, moving on. Smashbox and Becca. This is really... I just feel strongly because I'm just strongly confused. So, Becca, as we all know, went out of business this year, and that was sad for a lot of people. Becca has been around for a very long time, and you know, a lot of people really like the brand. Really, I was never a Becca stan, but I know they have like some really cult classic products, and we were all shocked when they decided that they were, I think, going to declare bankruptcy and just completely close their doors. It was very upsetting for a lot of people. And then like a month later, they announced that they were going to be partnering with Smashbox, and Smashbox would be carrying a couple of their products. And really, I'm just confused. I guess that's nice for people who were sad that they weren't going to be able to buy Becca's products anymore, but like, it's just confusing. And it's confusing that it sort of came in the form of a collaboration, which makes it sound like Smashbox bought Becca. Very, very confusing. All right, next, I'm sorry to do this, the Morphe and Ashley Strong collaboration. Now, I really like Ashley Strong. I think she's an incredible makeup artist. Why with Morphe? Why would you collaborate with Morphe? Why? And why come out with something that looks like this? Like, I love her, but this collection is just so lackluster. The color story is just, it's so bland, and considering that she plays with a lot of color, this is just boring. Another collaboration. Makeup Revolution and Batman. Who the fuck asked for this? Why? I don't imagine that the crossover between Batman fans and Makeup Revolution, or makeup fans, I guess, in general, is that large. And especially those two groups who will also buy a collaboration palette. Like, I don't think Batman fans who also love wearing makeup, I don't know how many of them will actually buy a Batman collection. It just seems very weird. I don't know. I'm just thinking like of, you know, my favorite show or movie or whatever. Like, I don't think I would buy a makeup collection with that thing. Like, okay, one of my favorite shows is Naruto. I don't think I would buy a Naruto makeup collection. Like, it would have to be the fucking best collaboration, the best package design, the best quality products, the best color story that perfectly matches the colors in Konoha or another village. Like, it would have to be fucking spectacular for me to consider buying it. I don't know who's gonna buy this collection. I'm just very confused. And also, first of all, no one asked for this. Second of all, I don't think of most of these palettes, I don't think these colors really scream Batman. I don't think the color story is that amazing. So, yeah, it's absolutely a no for me. I know these are all easy targets, but I feel like I need to just get this off my chest. Naked Cyber. Why? So, okay, I will give them this. It does look very Y2K, which I think is sort of the vibe that they were going for, like that early 2000s space futuristic kind of look that we were talking about with REM Beauty. I say this every time, but Urban Decay, just stop with the naked palettes. This palette would have probably come across a lot better to people if they just called it the Y2K palette and maybe had a different layout instead of the classic naked sort of rectangular pan layout. If they made this like just a different shape, different shaped pans, people might have been more willing to try it out because it looks nice. Based on what I know about the naked palette formula, I think it would really lend itself well to sort of the Y2K style of makeup and level, the like sort of lower level of pigmentation. So honestly, just call it the Y2K palette. And if you're going to call it the Cyber palette, I feel like you need more matte grays and blacks to really round out the palette. So maybe like take out some of the redundant shades or the lighter shades and then just add a little bit more depth at the darker end of the spectrum. And I feel like it could have been nice. And you could have just called it the Cyber palette. You don't need everything to be a naked palette. I'm sorry. Two more, and we're going to go into the best beauty launches, and there's quite a bit. The Lime Crime Wet, what's this called? The Lime Crime Wet Cherry Sweet Mattes and Wild Metallics palettes. So I think these two are actually an extension to the rest of this Wet Cherry collection. I don't know. I haven't been following Lime Crime really, so I actually have no idea what they're doing these days. These colors just look really tired and dated. Nothing about this is appealing to me. I'm sure it's appealing to other people, but it looks kind of ashy and dull. Really not exciting at all, especially compared to how exciting the outer packaging looks. The inside is just very lackluster. All right, and last on my list, Morphe and Coca-Cola Volume 2. Fucking why? I talked about Volume 1 of this collection last year. I don't understand who bought Volume 1, that it was that popular that they thought, oh, why don't we do a Volume 2? Whoever's buying this, fucking stop. Make it end. Because nobody asked for this. Also, explain to me how these colors scream Coca-Cola at all. I'm waiting. Exactly. Enough. Morphe, just stop. Slow down. Slow down. You don't have good ideas? Slow down. Just take your time and come up with better ideas, please. That is everything on my worst list. It's actually not as many as I thought. I have a lot more on my best of lists. So go grab a snack, maybe get yourself a drink and settle in because this is going to be a long list. Okay, so talking about most recent launches and working our way backward, we're going to start off with the Bitter Lace Beauty Kaleidoscope Glow After Dark collection or single shadows, I'm not really sure. Collection. These are just so dreamy. Everything Bitter Lace Beauty puts out is just so beautiful. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to try anything from them, but they just look so beautifully pigmented, so sparkly. These are just like a beautiful rainbow oil slick collection. It's just, oh, so dreamy. Okay, next, Colored Raine Rebellious Nudes palette. Normally, I'm really not a neutral kind of girl. As you can see, I like bold color, but this is how you do a nude palette. This is just so dreamy, so beautifully curated, and I'm a big fan. All right, next, the Tammy Tanuka Snake is Born palette. Oh, so dreamy. Oh, I'm such a sucker for like olive green tones, just really any green tones. This is just drool worthy. I really want to try Tammy Tanuka's formulas because Amy Loves Makeup is just absolutely obsessed with them. I've heard such good things from her, and I just want to try everything that they've ever come out with because, they're so like grungy and pigmented and like, they just look amazing. So yeah, this is just a beautiful, beautiful palette. Next, the Harry Styles Pleasing collection, and I'm going to explain why I put this on my best of list. We're starting to see more makeup and cosmetic products geared towards men, and I think this is just really awesome and not just men, but delivering the message that makeup isn't just for women or femme presenting people, and that makeup is genderless, and I think that's a really important message. So it's just really awesome to see, products that I guess traditionally were geared towards women, and now, anyone of any gender identity can wear those products. I think it's really awesome. Really big fan of what Harry Styles is doing. Like, I don't know how he identifies, it's not really relevant, but it's cool to see someone who, has such a big fan base be such a good role model. And I think the packaging also is really cool. I heard these are actually really pricey, so I don't love that, but you don't really see sort of influencer brands. There was Lights Lacquer, as I mentioned, there's Hollow Taco, and now this one. It's cool to see celebrities or influencers branch into an area like nail polish, which is kind of a bit of an untapped market compared to, something like eyeshadow, which literally everyone is doing right now. So I think that's really cool. All right. Next is the Alamar Cosmetics Encanto collection. And this is I guess, collaboration with Disney's Encanto, which I haven't seen yet. But by the time I put this up, maybe I'll have seen it. Anyways, oh my God, I was this close to buying the palette, and I feel like I still might buy it because the color scheme is perfection. And based on what I've seen, like the trailer for the movie and movie poster and whatnot, I think the color scheme perfectly captures the color palette of the movie. I think this is excellently done. Well done, Alamar. This is just awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Next, the Beauty Bakerie Sweet Potato Pie palette. Oh, this palette is so dreamy. And the fact that they included a green, which I wouldn't really think of with a palette called Sweet Potato Pie, but these colors are just perfect for the fall, perfect for Thanksgiving. This is exactly everything you need for a Thanksgiving makeup look. It's beautifully done. Next is the It's Belle Cosmetics Dawn of Fall palette. Oh my God, I feel like I don't have a good metaphor here. This palette left me speechless. It is breathtakingly gorgeous. Just all of those like beautiful shimmer and like duochrome shades. Like that green shade at the bottom is just so pretty. It's my favorite kind of shade. This just looks so dreamy. I think these are all shimmer shades. You'd obviously have to dip into another palette or single shadow to create a look with this. I mean, unless you wanted to put these all over your lids, which, like, honestly, by all means, go for it. I'd probably do the same. But, it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. And I actually don't know anything about this brand. I'm, like, very tempted to buy it, to try it out and just see what the quality is like, because it looks stunning. Okay, next, the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 3 palette. How did I not hear about this? Especially, like, I'm such a Danessa Myricks fan, but I just feel like a lot of these launches just, I don't know, there's just maybe so much clutter in my Instagram feed that I just completely miss these, which is really upsetting. These shades are so pretty, so, like, ethereal, magical, and that's just what Danessa Myricks does best. These are just so pretty, so editorial, which obviously is, the type of makeup that she does. I want it, and it's probably so expensive. $125, okay, and limited edition. But it's just breathtakingly gorgeous, as usual. So pretty. Next, the Beaute Tropical Vibes palette. What the fuck? These are so beautiful. Oh my god. It's like so grungy and bold and vibrant at the same time. Everything that I love. So pretty. I've heard that they updated their formula. I have their old formula. I have a couple palettes and they're just such a joy to work with. So I can't even imagine how much better their new formula is. Oh, they just absolutely kill it with their color schemes. I love this so much. Next, the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz collection. It's absolutely breathtaking. Although if you compare it to, I think the Mercury Retrograde palette was the last one she put out. If you compare the two palettes side by side, there are a lot of similarities. I was just watching Make Me Up Missa's video. Is it Misa or Missa? I think it's Missa. She said that there were a lot of similarities between those palettes, which I definitely see, but it's such a pretty palette. It's really, really pretty. Even though it is kind of leaning on the neutral side, there are those really pretty purples, which is just like, ugh, love it, love it. When you compare 4 of, I think, her most recent palettes, they all kind of blend into each other. Okay, next, the Florasis, I think, the Dai Collection. Holy shit, I don't know who this brand is. I get targeted ads for them every now and then I saw this on Trend Mood's page. Their packaging is just out of this world. Like the attention to detail, the stamps, the way they shape their eyeshadows and blushes, highlighters, whatever, just incredible. I don't know what their price points are like. I imagine kind of pricier. It looks kind of like luxury makeup. I don't even know, like I've never heard anyone talk about this brand either, so I don't even know if the quality is good, but the packaging is just breathtaking. Like just so gorgeous. Okay, next, don't get mad at me for what I said earlier. The Colourpop and NBA collection. Let me explain, okay? It's a really weird collection, I will give it that, and it's absolutely a money grab. But as far as the way they incorporated each team's colors into the palettes and just the packaging overall, they did a really spectacular job. I'll give them that. It's a really, really well executed collection, I think. The LA Lakers palette in particular is just really, really pretty. I have such a weakness for mustard yellow shades and purples, and oh, just so pretty. Hold on, I'm curious. Did they do every team in the NBA? Yeah, it looks like they only did a few. Not gonna lie, I'm a little offended that they didn't do the Raptors because I am from Toronto. Yeah, they only did a handful of teams. It's a little offensive. But yeah, the color stories are perfectly executed. So actually well done, Colourpop, for a really excellently done collection. Okay, next. Lunar Beauty Moonspell Volume 2. This palette is so beautiful, and Volume 1 was also so beautiful. I didn't get either of these. They're limited edition, or at least the first one was, and it's discontinued, which everyone in the world is upset about. I don't understand why the first one was discontinued because it was such a beautifully executed palette. This one is also a beautifully executed palette. Just don't discontinue things that people love. I don't understand why brands do that. But they are beautiful sister palettes, and as far as the color scheme, execution, the theme, just everything is on point. Okay, next, the Adept Cosmetics Amunet Nu palette. Oh, Amunet? I don't really know how to pronounce it, but this palette, this looks a lot like the older sister of the ABH and Jackie Aina palette collaboration. It's just so grungy and I love it. Ugh. Like that green duochrome shade is calling my name. I'm like, every time I see this, I'm like, ooh, should I go for it? Should I buy it? And then I just don't end up doing it, but it's so pretty. Okay, next is a collection that I was literally this close to buying the entire collection. The Glamlight Happy Hour Cocktail Collection. Just the most beautiful color stories, such a strong concept, and something that really we haven't really seen too much of. So I thought it was really fresh, really original. I loved the campaign imagery. I thought it was super fun. And the color schemes were just really on point, especially that purple one. Ooh, really calling my name. Yeah, I thought it was just a really well executed collection. Next, the Pat McGrath Holiday 2021 collection. This is just such a spectacular curation of shades and a really cool color story. But there are like so many shades in here. Hold on, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 18 shades, it looks like, in here. That is a lot of shades, especially because most of them are shimmers. How much use are you going to get out of the palette? Like, if you want to do a look, you've pretty much got like, what is it? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 mattes in here, and then the rest are shimmers. It seems kind of weird, but those shimmers are so pretty, especially that green shade. Oh, and that like, oh my God, and that purple. Oh, so pretty. But unfortunately, Pat McGrath palettes are not vegan, so I won't be buying this because otherwise my eyes will swell up like a balloon and it won't be pretty. But otherwise, I probably would have bought this, not gonna lie. It's just so spectacular looking. And like perfect for the holiday season as well. You would make such a statement in these shades. Ooh, so pretty. All right, next, the Natasha Denona Retro Love palette. Kind of a similar vibe to the Huda Rose Quartz palette, if I'm gonna be honest. But like really romantic colors, just really pretty. Both of them I think would be really pretty Valentine's Day palettes. Like it just kind of gives me that vibe. Just super, super like, ooh, just like, I don't know, it makes me feel like warm and cozy looking at those colors. I don't know why, but I really like them. Next, the another Huda Beauty palette or collection, I guess, the Wild Obsessions palettes. Really, really nice color stories. I really like, in general, I think I liked almost all of the Obsessions 9-pan palettes from Huda Beauty. I just really wish that she made them permanent because they're really, really strong color stories. And I am wearing a shade from the Amethyst Obsessions, which I'm really sad is discontinued because it's such a pretty palette. Like all of them, really, really strong color curation and really good quality eyeshadows as well. So I don't understand why she made them limited edition because they're like money makers. Like they're really, really good. Next, we're going to talk about the Huda Beauty again. Slash her Wishful line, GloWish, 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 GloWish blushes. Geez, say that 10 times fast. This is really, really pretty. I really don't understand the like Wishful line. I don't really understand why she had to make like 10,000 different sub-brands. It's a little confusing, not gonna lie, but I really love the concept. And I think with complexion products really being about showing your natural texture and being very glowy and dewy, I think this is perfect. Really, really nicely done. Okay, next, the Made by Mitchell Milk collection. The pigmentation looks absolutely incredible. And I love the blushes. I love the idea also of having a lightening shade. I feel like they probably should have also had maybe some sort of deepening shade so you can really do a lot with these different colors. But yeah, I think this collection looks really great. I love also the name of the blush, the Blursh. So I'm guessing it has some sort of like blurring properties, maybe. Oh, actually these are new shades. So I guess he had other shades. But anyways, I digress. Oh, those colors. The swatches look like the colors have been edited because they don't really match what's in the palette. But I've heard people really rave about this brand. So I don't know, heard good things. All right, next. This might be shocking. The Haus Labs Love for Sale palette. I feel really bad for Lady Gaga because everyone has been hating on Haus Labs. I really have not loved a lot of the products that they've come out with. Haven't actually tried anything from them, but just as far as the packaging, the color selection, I feel like it just doesn't feel like Lady Gaga's brand. It just doesn't really scream Lady Gaga. Honestly, a lot of it has been very underwhelming, but I feel like this is actually a really pretty palette. I feel like it might have been better to have two smaller separate palettes perhaps, like maybe one that's more neutral and one that's still neutral but a little bit more colorful, Or alternatively, just take out some of the beige shades and then just have a smaller palette. It feels like there's a lot, kind of like the large Colourpop palettes. It just feels a little redundant, and it maybe if it was a little bit smaller, it might feel a little bit more focused. Okay, the Sugardrizzle Polish Multichrome Eyeliner Crayons. Holy shit, look at this thing. Oh my god. I apparently have followed this brand, so I guess I've known about them for a while, but like, these are just, like, this whole brand is just so magical, and I don't know why I've never bought anything from them, because they are just like incredible looking. Just everything they come out with is just out of this world, like multi-chrome madness. I love it so much. So I really need to buy something from this brand because these are just so magical looking. Oh, so beautiful. And apparently they're waterproof or water resistant, which is cool, I guess. It'll be really annoying to get these off. The way that they swatch them, it looks like they were on like some sort of maybe like a paper surface or something. I don't think, like, yeah, it's not someone's arm. So this is what they actually look like. Still magical, still would make such a statement on your eyes. Just, ooh, breathtaking. So yeah, I really need to check out this brand because everything they do looks so gorgeous. On that note of just multi-chrome incredibleness, Danessa Myricks Infinite Chrome Flakes. Oh, I've been seeing these around Instagram and on Sephora's site, I think. Are they on Sephora's site? Maybe it's just I've been seeing Danessa Myricks post this. These are just so pretty. Just so pretty. Oh my god, these are fucking stunning. Okay, next. These ones. Still on the topic of beautiful multi-chromes, the Kaima, not really sure how to pronounce it. The Adept Cosmetics new pressed eyeshadows. These are stunning. These are like beautiful, like duochrome, maybe, are they multi-chromes? Definitely duochromes, but they've got this sort of iridescence to them. Like, they are very impactful, but they seem like a little bit softer, almost like a topper. Some of the shades anyways kind of feel more like toppers than fully opaque eyeshadows, which is really cool. These would make, honestly, these would make stunning highlights, or like just pop that in the center of your eyelid and just like really amp up any eyeshadow look. Ooh, I really need to check these out. I think I actually have an affiliate code with Adept Cosmetics, so I guess you can use that if you want. I really need to check these out. These look stunning. Okay, next, the ABH Summer Cream collection. Okay, these are so pretty. I've been kind of hesitant. I don't know how to feel about ABH, especially everything that happened, was it last year or this year? I don't even remember, with Donnie Darkowitz and ABH, and just sort of that whole scandal of them not paying their creators fairly. I don't know how to feel about the brand and the way that Norvina, her like public persona when it comes to sort of PR issues regarding the brand. She just doesn't seem super professional, like just sort of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know. So I don't really know how to feel about buying from ABH, but these are super pretty. Like, I kind of want these, at least something from this collection, but I just don't know how to feel about buying from them. So I don't know, but they look really pretty. Next, the Colored Raine cream blushes. These are so pretty. I wish they introduced shimmer blushes of either with these shades or other shades as well. I just personally, I prefer a more shimmery blush to kind of a flat color. That's just me personally, but oh my god, that purple shade is just so pretty. Okay, next, Selfless by REM. I've actually tried the Centella green tea cleanser. You can watch my review over here. And I actually really like it. It's really great at removing makeup, and I think it's a really good cleanser. I know a lot of people had issues with it. I think it's more just hating on influencer brands or the price point, because they weren't super cheap, especially partnering with the Inky List, which is a lower price point brand, kind of like The Ordinary. But personally, I actually really enjoyed the cleanser that I got. And it really feels great on my eczema prone skin, so that is absolutely a win for me. Next, the Laura Lee Los Angeles Candy Skies palette. Honestly, same with the blush palette. Like, I just did not know that this existed. I don't hear anything about this brand. I don't really see people talking about this brand either. But this is actually really, really pretty, really well done. Although, unfortunately, it looks like some of those pastels would look really ashy on darker skin. But as far looking at the color scheme, the color curation, I think this is a really nicely done palette. The e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. I actually haven't seen this in stores in Canada. I have to look around at a couple more places because most of the places where I shop that do carry e.l.f., they don't have a huge selection. So I'm going to have to check out maybe a Walmart because they usually carry more e.l.f. products here. But I really like how some of the lighter shades are actually kind of more cool toned. I think that's really cool. I think I probably have enough bronzers and contour shades, but if it was actually a really like pure cool toned contour shade, I'd be very interested because it looks very nice. Next, okay, I was this close to buying this palette. It's the Mikayla J and Glamlight collaboration palette. Oh, this palette just knocked it out of the park. The color scheme looked beautiful. Oh, this is just everything that you need in an eyeshadow palette. It looked so stunning. Next, the Norvina Volume 5 palette. Really, really pretty. I really wish that Norvina would just do like a full purple only palette because she does love purples, and just you don't need more brown shades in a palette. There are enough brown eyeshadows out there that we don't need more, but this is actually a really pretty palette. And I was like, I don't know if it's still going on as of when I'm filming this, but they were doing like a 40% off Norvina collection, which kind of makes me worried that they're discontinuing the whole line, or maybe they're just trying to attract more people to buy stuff with, you know, sort of Black Friday onwards to the Christmas season. So it was very tempting, but haven't caved in yet. And kind of like what I was saying before, I just don't know how to feel about ABH as a brand, so I'm very on the fence. Next, the Victoria Beckham Matte Bronzing Brick. So I actually have this. I did a review of it. You can watch it over here. And it's really, really good. It is not cheap at all, but for my skin tone, it works perfectly. It blends out beautifully. It's really, really nice. I really do love it. But the shade range could go darker. So if by any chance anyone from Victoria Beckham Beauty is watching this, add some darker shades. Next, the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. I love this color scheme. It is just so fresh. It's so, I guess nothing is original, but it just feels very original. Really like the color scheme. Well done. All right, next up, the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. This is a really, really cool color scheme, even though they got a lot of criticism when it came out, from myself included, that it looked kind of like a mashup of the Melt Gemini palette and the Melt Smoke Sessions palette. I'll just put them up on screen so you can compare. But it's a really, really, also a very fresh color scheme and very creative to pair kind of grungy greens and those more turquoisey shades, and some pink, I think, in there as well. Yeah, it's just really, really cohesive color scheme. Well done. Okay, next, the Colourpop, which one is this? Okay, I don't have the name of it. I thought it was called the Colourpop Digital Playground, but apparently that's just one eyeshadow palette. But basically those pastel, I think there were 5-pan eyeshadow palettes. I love pastels, so I absolutely love this. Just the perfect shades, the perfect like richness of hue and tone. They're just so pretty and I really love them. All right, next up is the Viseart the Soleil La Plage Étendue palette. And this is actually really beautiful. I am very impressed with Viseart. Normally they're kind of hit or miss for me as far as color schemes. They're very expensive, so I don't own any of their palettes. This is actually only $44 US, which is not bad. And it looks like, I think this is an eyeshadow palette, but the top row Looks like it could also be used as highlighters. Really, really nice colors. Very summery, which I'm not sure. Oh, this came out in April. So yeah, that makes sense. Kind of neutral with a pop of color, but very, very pretty. Next, this palette tested my self-control. The Give Me Glow Pastel Dreams palette. I love this so much. This is a pastel dream. This is the perfect pastel palette. I really want it. I feel like now no one's talking about it, so kind of like what I was talking about earlier, where it's like, well, do I need it? Absolutely not. I don't know, but I really like it. It's really, really pretty. It's very Instagrammable, and again, I almost bought this because it's just so gorgeous. Next, the Melt Cream Blush Lights. So I actually have the shade Polished. I'm actually wearing it today. I don't know how much it's showing up on camera. I've got a video that I filmed trying it out, and I don't know when that's gonna be up, but you can watch it here when it's live. Spoilers, it's gorgeous. Almost done. Next up, we have the Menagerie Flight Club palette. I love an all purple palette. It is one of my weaknesses. And I almost bought this because it's just so pretty. Well done, Menagerie. All right, next we have the Urban Decay Wild West palette. Okay, this one they actually got right. I think this is a really well executed palette. I really like it. I think the color scheme is very cohesive. It definitely matches the theme. I don't really, oh, it's not a naked palette. It just looks like a naked palette. Or is it a naked palette? No, it is a naked palette. For fuck's sake, man. Like, why? Just fucking call it the Urban Decay Wild West palette and just leave it there. I don't understand why everything has to be a naked palette, but the color scheme is just really well done. Next, the Danessa Myricks Twin Flames Liquid Multichromes. These look amazing. Personally, I don't think I would really wear a liquid multichrome, so I'm not going to pick this up, but these look incredible, as usual, from Danessa Myricks. Second last, we've got the Kaleidos and Angelica Nyqvist Club Nebula palette. I also almost bought this, and then I was like, I don't know, because it's limited edition, and that whole dilemma about is there a point in reviewing limited edition stuff, because at the end of the day, I am trying to grow my channel, but this is absolutely stunning. Like the theme is so cohesive. The color scheme is just breathtaking. It's a really, really well done collection. It's so pretty. I wish they made this permanent because it's so, so pretty. And then lastly, bringing us back to the beginning of last year, the Nomad Cosmetics Land of Ice and Fire palette. This palette is inspired by Iceland, and it's really so pretty. This is such a pretty palette, such a cool concept. Also, I don't really know too much about Iceland, so I don't really know how closely the colors match up to the landscape. I imagine the blues are very appropriate since it is an island, and the black makes sense. I think there's a lot of volcanoes there, so those like warm tone shades make sense. I don't really know about the green and the purple. I guess that's maybe the landscape. It's a very pretty palette. I like it. That concludes my best and worst in beauty of 2021. If you stuck around to the end, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to spark a discussion about makeup because I just love talking to fellow makeup lovers. If you like the type of looks that I do here on my channel and you want to see more, I'd love it if you could follow me on my other social media. I've got links in the description box below. Also, if you have any questions about the products that I'm wearing today, I always leave everything that I'm wearing on my face in the description box, so you can check that out as well. And if you enjoy the content that I post here on my channel and you want to see more, I'd love it if you could subscribe and turn on notifications, and that way you'll get updated every time I post a new video, and I'll see you guys next time.